Most people believe success is built in big moments. The promotion, the award, the moment when everyone applauds. But the truth is much quieter than that. Your future is not built when people are watching. Your future is built in the hours nobody sees. It is built early in the morning when the world is still asleep. It is built in the evenings when everyone else chooses comfort over growth. It is built in the small decisions that look insignificant today but compound into a completely different life tomorrow. And here is the uncomfortable truth that most people avoid. Your future does not care about your intentions. It only responds to your habits. You can want success. You can dream about success. You can even talk about success. But the future only belongs to the people who quietly build it. Hour by hour. Day by day. When nobody is clapping. When nobody is encouraging them. When nobody is even aware of the effort. And if you are listening to this right now, there is a strong chance that you are someone who wants more from life. More discipline. More growth. More control over your destiny. This channel was created exactly for people like you, people who are ready to take ownership of their lives and become stronger, wiser, and more intentional with the time they have been given. So before we begin, take a moment to support the mission of this channel. Subscribe. Like this video. Not because it helps the algorithm, although it does, but because it tells us that you want more content that actually helps people build better lives. Now let's talk about the truth that most people ignore. The future is not built in public. It is built in private. And once you understand this principle, your entire life begins to change. Part 1. The Invisible Hours. Every person you admire has something in common. They worked when nobody was watching. When people look at successful individuals, they usually focus on the visible results. They see the athlete lifting the trophy. They see the entrepreneur building a company. They see the author publishing a best-selling book. But what they do not see are the thousands of invisible hours that came before those moments. The quiet mornings. The disciplined evenings. The lonely work that nobody applauded. That is where the real transformation happened. History is full of examples of this principle. When Leonardo da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa, people saw the masterpiece. What they did not see were the countless hours he spent studying anatomy, sketching faces, and perfecting techniques long before the world knew his name. When athletes win championships, the crowd celebrates the final shot. But the real victory was built years earlier during exhausting training sessions that nobody recorded and nobody praised. Your life works exactly the same way. Your future will not be determined by the occasional burst of motivation. It will be determined by what you do during the hours when nobody is paying attention. The early morning when you could sleep in, but you choose to learn instead. The evening when you could waste time, but you choose to improve instead. The moment when you feel tired, but you keep going anyway. Those are the hours that build a different life. And here is something important to understand. Most people never experience extraordinary growth because they only work when they feel inspired. But inspiration is unreliable. Discipline is what creates transformation. There will be days when you do not feel motivated. There will be days when the work feels slow. There will be days when you wonder if the effort is even making a difference. But those are exactly the moments that separate ordinary lives from extraordinary ones. Because every hour you invest in yourself is quietly shaping the person you will become. Every book you read. Every skill you practice. Every disciplined decision you make. It is all adding up. Even when it feels invisible. And the beautiful thing about this process is that one day, the results appear suddenly. To the outside world it looks like success happened overnight. But you will know the truth. It was built in the hours nobody saw. Part 2, The Compounding Effect of Quiet Discipline. There is a reason the hours nobody sees are so powerful. Those hours compound. Most people underestimate how small actions accumulate over time. They believe that change must be dramatic to matter. They think success arrives through sudden breakthroughs or lucky opportunities. But in reality, life rarely changes that way. Life changes slowly. And then all at once. A single focused hour may not seem like much. One page written. One chapter read. One workout completed. One skill practiced. One difficult task finished when you would rather rest. Individually, these actions appear small. But stacked day after day, week after week, they begin to transform you in ways that are almost impossible to notice at first. Think about a stonecutter striking a rock. The first strike does not break it. The 10th strike does not break it. The 100th strike might not break it. But eventually the rock splits. Was it the final strike that caused the break? No. It was every strike that came before it. Your life works the same way. Every disciplined hour you invest becomes another strike against the rock that stands between you and the future you want. And yet this is exactly the moment when most people quit. Not because they are incapable, but because they cannot yet see the results. They work for a few weeks. They try for a few months. They push themselves for a short season. Then when the world does not immediately reward them, they stop. They assume the effort is not working. What they fail to understand is that progress often hides beneath the surface long before it becomes visible. The person who reads for 30 minutes every day may not feel smarter after 1 week. But after a year, they have consumed the knowledge of dozens of books. The person who improves a skill for 1 hour every day may not see dramatic progress after a month. But after 5 years, they become the person others call an expert. The person who invests their time wisely instead of wasting it may not feel different today. But 10 years from now, their life will look completely different from those who ignored those quiet hours. And here is something important to remember. The world celebrates visible success, but it rarely honors the discipline that created it. No one applauds the early mornings. No one praises the nights when you stayed focused while others distracted themselves. No one gives medals for the decision to keep improving when progress feels slow. But those quiet decisions are building something powerful inside you. They are building trust in yourself. When you show up for your future day after day, you begin to develop a quiet confidence. Not the loud confidence that comes from bragging or showing off, but the deeper confidence that comes from knowing you are doing the work. You become someone who does not depend on motivation. You become someone who does not wait for the perfect conditions. You become someone who understands that the path forward is built one disciplined hour at a time. And this is the moment when life begins to shift. Because once a person learns how to use the unseen hours wisely, they gain something that most people never develop. They gain control over their trajectory. While others drift through life reacting to circumstances, disciplined people shape their future intentionally. Quietly. Patiently. Hour by hour. And the remarkable thing is this. One day those invisible hours stop being invisible. One day the results begin to show. The opportunities appear. The skills become undeniable. The confidence becomes visible. And people will look at your life and wonder how you got there. They will assume you were lucky. They will think success happened quickly. But you will know the truth. It was built in the hours nobody saw. Part 3, the moment you decide who you become. There comes a moment in every person's life when the truth becomes impossible to ignore. It usually does not arrive with fireworks or applause. It arrives quietly. Often late at night. Or early in the morning. When the noise of the world fades and you are left alone with your own thoughts. And in that moment, a question begins to surface. What am I doing with my time? Not your plans. Not your dreams. Not the version of your life you talk about with friends. But the reality of how you are spending the hours of your life. Because time is the one resource that treats every person equally. The wealthy cannot buy more of it. The powerful cannot control it. And the talented cannot escape its demands. Every single day you are given the same 24 hours. But what separates people is how they choose to use the hours that no one else controls. Some people hand those hours away. They trade them for distraction. They spend them scrolling, drifting, postponing the things they know they should be doing. Day after day they promise themselves that tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow they will begin. Tomorrow they will focus. Tomorrow they will become disciplined. But tomorrow has a habit of turning into another tomorrow. And before they realize it, years have passed. Not because they lacked intelligence. Not because they lacked potential. But because they surrendered the quiet hours that shape a life. Then there are the people who make a different decision. They stop waiting. They stop negotiating with their excuses. They understand that discipline is not about punishment, it is about ownership. Ownership of your time. Ownership of your habits. Ownership of the person you are becoming. And once someone makes that decision, something powerful begins to change. They no longer need the world's approval to start. They do not wait for perfect circumstances. They stop asking for permission to pursue the life they know they are capable of building. Instead, they begin using the most valuable hours of the day with intention. They wake up earlier. They protect their focus. They invest their attention into learning, building, improving. Not because it is easy, but because they understand the price of ignoring their potential. And here is the powerful truth that very few people talk about. When you start respecting your time, your entire life begins to reorganize around that decision. Your habits sharpen. Your priorities become clear. Your confidence grows quietly because you know something others do not. You know that every day you are building something real. Something that cannot be faked. Something that cannot be taken away. Skill. Character. Discipline. And eventually those invisible hours begin to shape the life you live. Doors open because you are prepared. Opportunities appear because you develop the ability to act on them. Challenges that once intimidated you now feel manageable because you have trained yourself to endure difficulty. This is how strong lives are built. Not in sudden bursts of motivation, but through thousands of hours where a person chooses growth over comfort, effort over excuses, purpose over distraction. So tonight, tomorrow morning, or whenever the world becomes quiet around you, remember this. Those hours are not empty. They are the raw material of your future. And what you build during those unseen moments will eventually become the life everyone else sees. The question is not whether those hours will shape your future. They will. The only question is this. Will you use them intentionally? Or will you give them away? Before we close, take a moment and think about something important. Years from now, the life you will be living is already being built today. Not in the big events. Not in the rare opportunities. But in the ordinary hours that pass quietly through your hands. The hour when you decide to learn something new instead of drifting through distractions. The hour when you choose discipline instead of comfort. The hour when you push forward even when nobody is encouraging you. Those are the hours that build a powerful life. The truth is, most people are waiting for motivation to arrive before they begin. They believe that one day they will wake up feeling ready to change everything. But the people who truly transform their lives understand something different. They begin before they feel ready. They begin when it is inconvenient. They begin when the results are still invisible. And slowly, quietly, their future begins to take shape. If this message resonated with you, it likely means you are someone who wants more from life, more clarity, more strength, more direction. This channel exists for exactly that purpose. Here, we talk about the habits, mindset, and discipline that help people take ownership of their lives and build something meaningful with the time they have been given. So if you found value in this message, take a moment to support the mission. Subscribe to the channel. Like this video. And share it with someone who might need this reminder today. Every time you do that, It helps this channel reach more people who are searching for guidance, encouragement, and a push to become the best version of themselves. And if you want to go even deeper, tell me something in the comments. What is 1 hour in your day that you are going to start using differently starting today? Because real change does not begin with huge promises. It begins with a single decision. 1 hour. Used wisely. Thank you for spending this time here, and remember, your future is not something that suddenly appears. It is something you build, quietly, patiently, and intentionally, in the hours nobody sees.